What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We're going to be talking about the new horror film 28 Years Later. The film follows a group of survivors living on a small island. When one of the groups leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors as well. I've been really excited for this movie because the trailers have been some of the best trailers that I've seen in so long. They were so creepy, so ominous, but at the same time, they didn't really give away any of the story, any of the plot points, just a lot of visual elements, and I thought that was great. So going into this, I am somebody that has never seen any of the other two 28 movies, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, so I'm going to be giving you guys my perspective as somebody that is new to this franchise, and I had a real big blast with this movie. There's been a lot of hype surrounding this movie, and while I do think this movie is getting a little bit overhyped, I still thought there was enough good in this movie that made me come out just having a really fun time. Starting off with the things that I really enjoyed about this movie, the cinematography is absolutely beautiful to look at. That is just worth a price of admission alone. Just seeing the landscapes and seeing all these different infected zombies, whatever you want to call them, I like to call them zombies. There is a creepy atmosphere where you are just trying to survive as well, and where I think this movie reaches its high point is whenever the infected come on screen. There are a lot of them that are really creepy, and the tension in the first half of this movie is what really got me invested throughout the entire film. There are some jarring editing sequences in the beginning of the film where it's just a lot of visuals with some of the creepy noises and that poem that they have in the trailers that is spread in the beginning of this film, and it just added a little bit more of the intensity that you were going to witness, and I think that just immediately pulls you in. This is a tale of two different movies, because the first half you have Aaron Taylor Johnson taking his son out for his first hunt, and he is trying to expose his son to what is out there, to the infected, so he knows how to kill and protect. And I thought that was one of the strongest elements to this movie, just seeing how his kid is reacting to everything that is going around and seeing all these different infected people. But he's also at the point where he doesn't want to kill. He's still at a young age, and so you kind of see the two different sides of Aaron Taylor Johnson trying to have his son be a man and start to kill the infected. And I thought that was where the movie was at its high point. You get invested into these characters, you get invested into the small island and seeing how everything works out. Then the film kind of switches gears in the last half of this movie, where then after his son has his little formal party after he's had his first kill, he sees that his dad isn't really the man that he thought he was, and so maybe the things that his dad is telling him aren't really the safest bets, because his mom is sick and they're trying to figure out a cure for his mom. And so when he finds out that there's a doctor on the mainlands, he goes out with his mom, try to see this doctor. Hopefully he's able to cure his mom and they can all live happily ever after. But then a lot of situations go down with the infected. Then it becomes a coming of age story as the movie goes on. And I thought the middle half, well, there's some pacing issues here and there. It was still getting me invested and I was still on board with what they were trying to do. Then we kind of take a different route when we see Ray Fiennes in this movie and his involvement in the story. I thought it was done as good as it possibly could have. I am a sucker when it comes down to mom and son stories, so anytime you have a story like that, it's going to sucker me in. And I did get a little bit more emotional in the second half, but I kind of wish it was a little bit more, because there is some pacing issues here and there where it started to lose my interest, but at the same time I was still invested because there were some creepy visuals, and I really love how some of the infected look like. Some of the things that I kind of wish was done a little bit stronger was I kind of wish they had a bigger role for Aaron Taylor Johnson. Without getting into this movie, he is in it for about the first 40 minutes, and then it just becomes Aaron Taylor Johnson's son, whose name I'm forgetting right now, and Jodie Comer's story. And at points it does start to feel like it's dragging a little bit more, like you could have shaved 10 to 15 minutes off of this movie. Also, I do wish it was a little bit more bloodier and gorier. When we get the kills are beautiful to look at. All the practical effects blend in here, but I kind of wish the kills were a little bit more stronger and a little bit more glorier. This is more of a slow burn horror film, and that's going to be very divisive. I've seen a lot of people with high hopes coming out of this movie very disappointed, and while I did have sky high hopes for this movie, this was one of my most anticipated films of the year, I still thought it was a pretty decent little horror movie. Some people will say it is a back to form in the franchise. Some people will disagree with that, and I really like how they were setting up the Bone Temple in this movie with the last 5 to 10 minutes where your blood is starting to get pumped up and you really want to see what's happening next. I thought all that setup was done well. And then it goes on for another 5 minutes and then something else happened that I've seen a lot of people just not really like. I thought it was fine. It didn't ruin the entire movie like it did for some people or will for some people. I thought it was okay, and it does diverge a little bit more from the tone that we have in the first 2 acts of this movie, but I still thought it was an enjoyable movie. It is a lot of fun. I came out with a big smile on my face, and it did get me excited for 28 years later, The Bone Temple, which I know a lot of people are kind of on the fence about because it's directed by Nia DaCosta, but Alex Garland is the writer for that movie, so let's see how she does with somebody else writing the scripts instead of her. Hopefully The Bone Temple will be fun, because I thought it was fine for what they were setting up, but overall this is a movie that is worth watching in theaters. And if you're somebody that has never seen any of the 28 movies, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later, I think you're going to be just perfectly fine going into this movie without having seen all the other ones. I think you might lose some of the nuance and the novelty from those first 2 movies, but I think you're going to enjoy this if you have never seen any of the other 2 films. But if you are somebody that has seen the other 2 and you came out disappointed and have heard other people's response to this movie, I think you would be fine waiting for this movie on streaming. But those are my thoughts on 28 Years Later. Have you guys checked it out? Did it disappoint you, or did you just have a lot of fun with this movie? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below. We'll catch you guys for the next video.